All right, Charles, it looks like the recording has started. Welcome to another week of our disaster open house series. This is an opportunity for us to go over where Louisiana currently stands with our volunteers, which volunteers are deployed, and then we always follow up with a weekly topic. The first thing I want to do to get started off with is Harry, if you're ready, are you ready to give the weather update?
I am.
All right, it's all yours.
All right, let me get my screen going here. Had to unmute myself and that messed up my share. All right. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Hurricane Open House. We do have a little bit of situational awareness to talk about. The first thing is we will cover the tropics as we always do during these lessons here, presentations, and you can see we have two lemons that are going to turn into absolutely nothing more than likely. This one here is actually closer to Spain and Portugal than anything else, and it's actually heading that direction. Certainly no impact to North America at all. And this one here, disturbance 2, has a very low chance of development, and it would only affect the Atlantic coast. It's neither of these are going to impact the Gulf. The Gulf looks like it's in good shape for the foreseeable future. With that said, we do have some local issues to talk about. We've been tracking the initiation of some thunderstorms today, which could bring some beneficial rainfall. As you know, had the flash drought developing with some wildfire risk. Any rain would be welcome, and some areas will get some. It's not going to be a great coverage of rainfall, probably about 30%. So 70% of us will not see any rain. But those where a storm pops up over you, the storm could be quite sharp, with heavy rain, winds over 60 miles per hour, and maybe some small hail. We can see the initiation of this convection just getting started here in this area from Natchitoches over towards Jena. This has just popped up in the last 5 scans or so. Clicking over to the satellite, you can actually see where those storms are popping. They're still in the initiation stage, so they're just getting started. Up here farther to the north in Ruston and Monroe, we're seeing some high cloudiness. That's actually kind of filtering the sunlight and probably not going to see a lot of convection there, at least in the early stages. It's probably going to hang out Jena to Alexandria to Natchitoches, and then that's going to move southward through the afternoon into northern Acadiana. We'll see some also in the Baton Rouge area and over onto the Florida parishes on the North Shore. So just be prepared that you may get some rain, and if you happen to be under one of those storms, it could be quite severe. So just be situationally aware. Barring any questions, Curtis, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, fantastic, Harry. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly. I want to go over our weekly disaster responder update, just to go over things like availability and who is currently deployed. All right, can you all see my screen? Hopefully.
Yes, I can.
Awesome. All right, y'all. So it wouldn't be a proper presentation if the first thing I didn't remind you all was to update your disaster availability. I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times by now, but please, the workforce staff has 100% availability updated. So amazing job on the staff. Now it's important for us to make sure that all of our volunteer workforce has their availabilities updated as well. So please, whenever you see any of the volunteers or workforce that you supervise, just keep on beating it into them. Update, update, update that availability. So far, we've been getting amazing results. So thank you so much for everyone that has been updating their availability and passing the word along, because we've had, honestly, so far, the best results that we've had in the last few years. And we've only been doing this push for a few weeks now. So on that good note, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual numbers. This makes me so flippin' happy. if you look at our total responses, that's crazy. We're at 86 responses. That is so good compared to where we were even just a few weeks ago or even last year. And look at just here at availability alone, we're up to 44. That is so amazing, everyone. Nicely done. And then just as important though, we had the volunteers enter when they weren't available because we also need to know who can't deploy. That helps us just as much as knowing who we can deploy. Gives us a much better accurate number. Um, in addition to this, I think there was seven. It says, oops. It says it doesn't say the number, but there's seven more volunteers that also do have future availability. I did include that in this total. And yeah, so right now we're standing at 86 Red Crossers have updated their availability. Round of applause to all of you guys. Pat on the back. Nicely done. When it
Way to go,
comes to
team.
yeah, when it comes to the deployments so far, we had this big old Bertha, which was a big old nothing burger, but we still went into full activation for it, and so it really has drastically increased our numbers of total deployments to 105. But if we exclude that nothing burger, we sit at 62 deployments so far. Um, this fiscal year, which is huge. I mean, that's great. We keep on going up. We keep on getting more and more people out there deploying. Unfortunately, there are a number of wildfires throughout the country right now. But the silver lining is that we have workforce that are being activated and going out there to help. If we look at our current deployments over here in the right-hand side, we got the Ladies, Vicky and Moses. They are out helping with the Spokane fires. And then we have our very own Tammy Estevez, and she is helping with the California fires along the Sierra Nevada mountains. So we got three total deployments right now, and all of them are outside of Louisiana. But please remember, if you want to deploy and this sounds like something you're interested in, you got to go update your disaster responder availability first. As soon as you do that, then you'll start hearing about opportunities to deploy. Lastly, I do just want to remind you guys, please update your emergency contacts. This is super important, especially if anything happens while you are deployed. We need to have family or someone to contact in case there is any issue or any emergency. So please do make sure everyone, that's staff and volunteers, go into your volunteer connection profile and please update your emergency contacts. That's all I have for my presentation on this end. Sava had a couple of really important updates as well. Sava, do you want to go ahead and share your updates?
Hello, everybody. Yes, so right now we are at a critical level of deployment need in the American Red Cross and across the country. For a while, we've been talking about the depletion point. As we start working up with our national readiness targets, training volunteers, doing outreach and recruiting events, it's also that we have more readily available trained responders to help the community when they need us most, because we have known for a while that disasters are becoming more frequent, harder hitting, and longer lasting, with an increased need of workforce. And we are getting to that point right now in our history that this is drastically needed. We, at this current time, this message comes directly from Brad Kaiserman. Shortly later today, as late as Monday, a video is going to be released regarding this critical need for volunteers and the unprecedented amount of disasters that we're facing. But just a quick synopsis: we are currently struggling to resource our active disaster response operations. We're approaching mission degradation on several operations due to critical position vacancies. Despite everything that we've been doing to update availability, notify our workforce, share about the deployment 101 session that we've done, talking about the number of DROs that are currently active, we as a nation are still struggling to be below 50 open positions for several weeks. We're going into the weekend with 33 leveled disaster operations, including 2 level 5s, 5 level 4s, and 10 level 3, with 61 open positions on the door. And now we are standing up another level 5 operation in Indiana, which is increasing our readiness posture in 3 Pacific Division regions. This is really telling you the huge need for volunteers now more than ever before in our American history. So we're calling on you to update your availability. Let us know if you are able to deploy and help with these operations as Workforce continues to think of additional ways that we can help with getting training available to you, potentially more deployment one-on-one sessions, really help focus on the need here. But that's the message of the day. I'll turn this back to you, Curtis.
Thank you, Sava. All right, so on that note, we have our presentation for this week. I am excited to introduce Elizabeth Dawson. She is going to be presenting hurricane preparedness. So Elizabeth, if you're ready, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Just gonna pop up my slides here. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So today we're going to talk about hurricanes and how to be prepared for them. Get them to work. So can anyone tell me the difference between a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning?
A hurricane watch is a potential threat. Hurricane warning is definite, as a definite threat.
Absolutely. So one of the ways I like to say it is a watch is like you're getting ready to make tacos. You have all the ingredients, but they're not put together yet. And a warning is, you know, you're getting ready to eat that taco. The taco's made and it's heading for your mouth. So with the watch, you hear that you're going to be ready to act. That's when you want to make sure you're getting your plan and your stuff together. Like you want to make sure you're hitting that gas station. You want to make sure you're getting your groceries, double checking you have your go bags packed. By the time you hit that hurricane warning, it's time to act. Everything should already be prepared and you should be able to just enact your plan. One of the largest dangers for a hurricane is actually flooding. A storm surge, a lot of us hear storm surge and we assume that that's how deep the water is going to be. In fact, a storm surge is how much dry land is now covered by the ocean. So when you hear there's 20 feet of storm surge, that's 20 feet up the beach that is no longer dry. Inland flooding is typically your normal flooding, your flash flooding, and that just comes from the sky. So those are the big differences there. Unless you are brand new to Louisiana, you've been through a hurricane or two, and you understand that they can be very impactful, very devastating. You'll have deaths and injuries, mainly from the flooding, but some can happen with the winds. Your infrastructure tends to go out and gets damaged. You need to be very careful if you're planning on drinking the water after water outages. A lot of places will put into effect boil warnings so that you have to boil the water to ensure it's not going to make you sick before you drink it. With all the flooding, the sewers tend to overflow, roads can be destroyed, and of course, everyone's hit the stores, so there's going to be shortages at the stores. During the hurricanes, if there's flooding and there's water on the road, please turn around. You don't know if that road is still there. Even if you just saw a car go through it, your car might be the one that ends up washing away. Making your plan is something we're going to go over. But in any disaster, it's up to you to make sure that you and your family are prepared for what may come. In addition to that, check in on your neighbors. They might not know what's going on. Maybe they have a big event in their own life and their family going on, and they're just not clued into the weather. Check in on your older neighbors and older family members for sure. We're going to talk about getting a kit, making a plan, and being informed. That's the Red Cross way. If in your household kit, you're going to have supplies for 3 days at the very least. Can anyone tell me why you want to have at least 3 days of supplies at home?
The quickest I can get to you for emergency services.
Right. So if a big storm's coming through, it could be a hurricane or tornado or what have you. The roads might be blocked. Emergency services might not be able to get to you. You might not be able to get out. So that's why you want to make sure you have at least 3 days. If you can get up to 2 weeks, that's great. But 3 days is kind of the minimum standard. You're going to have a go bag or a go kit ready. We're going to go into what goes into that. But again, try to have snacks and stuff in there that's going to last you at least 3 days. Make sure that when you're going through what goes into each of we go through them, that you're each member of your household and your pets is going to need something a little bit different to calm them. They have anxiety, they might need different medications, what have you. Critical supplies to ensure that you have on hand is going to be a gallon of water per person per day. That being said, is that if you have 3 people in your house, is 3 gallons of water in your house going to be sufficient? Probably not. And that's because it takes about a gallon of water to flush your toilet. What if you're going to be wanting to wash your hands? If you need to rewash a dish because you don't have disposable dishes? What if you want to cook? These are all things you need to consider. So a gallon a day per person is kind of like the basic, that's what you need to survive. What are some tips that we can do to increase the water we hold at home without breaking the bank? Can someone come off mute? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You said fill up the tub with water? Absolutely. Filling up the tub with water is a great option. Make sure that you clean the tub before you do it. And I've heard recently that if you put a filter in there, it can help keep the bacteria out so that the water is better for longer. Non-perishable food, that's important in case you lose electricity. You might end up losing the fridge and the freezer. A tip to make sure we all have our own tips in the South to make sure that the food in the freezer is still good after a storm if we lose electricity. Can anyone pipe in and tell me one?
This is Lana. You can put a cup of water, freeze it, and then put a quarter on top of it. And after the storm or the event is over, if the quarter has sunk to the bottom, you know that everything got defrosted and it's not viable.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great way to make sure we're not getting sick from the food that we're eating from our own fridges after a storm. When you first get wind that we're coming up on hurricane season, there might be things going on in the Gulf. Try to reach out to your insurance company or your doctor and see if you can't get a 1-month supply of medication just to have on hand in case you do end up having to evacuate. These storms are getting faster, rapid buildup and intensification. So if you can get that on hand before, that could decrease your stress in the time that it takes to prepare. Making sure you have a first aid kit, a copy of your prescriptions. I heard someone mention if you take a picture of your pill bottle labels and email it to yourself, then you have less in your bag to carry if you're just needing the copy of the prescription. And you can access it anywhere you can your email. Trying to make sure you have your backup batteries. How are you going to communicate if everything goes down? Do you need a radio? Do you have your chargers? A lot of us have cell phones now. Is your cell phone, as long as it's charged, you also have a flashlight? Do you have extra flashlights? Do you have batteries that make them work? A big thing I'd like to point out here is cash, because when electricity goes out, a lot of the supermarkets, the warehouse stores, things like that, they're not going to have electricity to run your card. So they're only going to go to cash. With that, I would also suggest that some of your cash is in smaller bills in case they can't provide change right away. And we're going to go into important documents here shortly. Huzzah! Some of your important documents you're going to want to make sure that you keep safe. Put them in like a Ziploc bag or another waterproof bag. I keep mine in a waterproof bag in my safe. And that way, if something's happening, I can just grab that bag out of my safe and put it in my go bag. And I don't have to worry about what's in there. Birth certificates, passports, social security cards, insurance papers, photos of your belongings, this type of stuff. Before storm comes, go around and take a picture of your valuables. That way you have before and after pictures in case something gets damaged. Make sure you have that date though on that picture. You'll have to go into your phone settings if you're using your phone. You can put the phone settings on there to make sure it shows the date. We're going to talk a little bit about making a plan, which is how to evacuate, where to go, how to communicate, and what to do if you're going to shelter in place. Before the storms come in your way, it's really helpful to get all these details on paper. If there's not a storm coming your way and you don't know which way the storm is coming, it might take a little more planning, but it really will pay off in the long run because you'll already have it mapped out. What I mean by that, you don't know which direction the storm is coming, so plan an evacuation route to go east, west, and north. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, see where they're going to evacuate if they live in the same area, or find out if you can catch respite with them while the storm is raging. Start checking in with hotels and campgrounds and motels, Airbnbs. They fill up fast, but getting an idea of what the price might be will help you with your financial planning. The Red Cross app is wonderful. You can have lots and lots of great tips on preparedness using that app. It also sends out a very unique sound if something is in your area that you need to take cover from. So I would highly suggest you doing that. How are you going to evacuate if you need to? There's some people that don't have transportation readily available, in which case contact your emergency manager, contact your public transit, and find out what the plan is for your location on how to get people to an evacuation site. If you have that information before you need it, again, it will cut down on the anxiety. Please remember that your mobile homes, manufactured homes, anything that doesn't have a solid foundation is going to be less safe than a solid foundation because the high winds can damage and destroy and rip it out. If the authorities advise you to evacuate, please do. I swear, we work with them all the time. The last thing they want is for you to have to leave your home. If they tell you you need to go, please go. It's for your own safety. If you do decide to stay in place, make sure that you have the supplies you need. Again, try to go out 2 weeks if you can. Do you have 2 weeks of food? Do you have 2 weeks of water? Because now you're not only talking about the possibility of roads being blocked, you're also talking about and taking into consideration the supply routes to the stores, or how quickly the gas trucks can get into the area to refill the gas stations. Find out where in your house you're going to take cover. It should be on the inner portion of your home without windows and low to the ground. Make sure that you have some way to catch updates on the weather, be it your phone or preferably some kind of AM FM radio. And make sure that you are sharing your plan with other people. That way they know to check on you when the storm is past. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to add, like a tip for sheltering in place? Okay. Sorry if I'm going a little fast. I'm trying not to run us over. Stay informed.
Elizabeth, I think Alan said that he did. I don't know if you can see the chat.
I cannot. I see that Miss Jenny has her hand up.
Hey, yeah, I was going to also suggest for sheltering in place, if it's an airborne reason of why you're sheltering outside of hurricanes and stuff, it's good to also put towels or blankets down at each of your doors to try to help seal it to not get any contaminated air in your home. It's a
Like
bonus.
for wildfires and chemical spills. That's a good
Right,
idea.
exactly. Yep.
Okay. Know how you're going to be informed, have multiple avenues of getting that information. Talk to your neighbors. Please, please talk to your neighbors. On the right side of the slide here, you can text your zip code to 888-777 to get public alerts that are for the area that is your zip code. And then also I highly suggest, again, downloading that Red Cross emergency app. It will keep you up to date on disasters in your area, hazards. It'll give you information on shelters and where to go if you have to evacuate, that type of thing. Protecting your home and belongings. You want to try to make sure that you're going to bring in everything from outside to the inside that can fly away. If you cannot bring it in, strap it down and secure it so that it doesn't fly away. We want as little shrapnel as possible during these high winds. Get your emergency supplies inside. If you're able to, and it hasn't been done already, make sure that your heating system is up off the floor. Renters and flood insurance. Renters insurance you can get for maybe $8 a day from some of these companies. I highly suggest that you have it, just because if anything does happen, you're not starting completely from scratch with no savings. Again, if you're told to evacuate, please do. The emergency managers in your area will be getting you home as soon as they can. They don't want you out of your home and out of your community longer than you have to be. They will wait, and they will do everything they can to make sure that it's safe for you to stay home. If you do not leave when they tell you you have to leave, like a mandatory evacuation, be ready to provide information so that they can identify you if worst comes to worst. All right, during and after floodwaters, don't walk, swim, or drive through floodwaters. Again, you don't know what's in that water. You've got sewers overflowing, you've got wildlife in there. I know recently we had the big floods. I had people kayaking in what used to be a park. And it sounds like fun until you get sick or hurt, and now you have like a flesh-eating disease or something. Water is the greatest threat to your safety in these events, so please just stay away and let it recede. Fallen power lines, you don't know if they're active. You might not have power in your house. It does not mean that that fallen power line is not active. Please stay away from it. Let the power company know that it's there. Keep your generators several feet out of your house. Do not run them in your house or near your windows because you will get carbon monoxide poisoning. And unfortunately, that's how the deaths have been occurring in the last few hurricanes that we have had. People have ran their generators too close or inside their home. And again, wait for public officials to say that it's safe before you return. They're going to make sure that the hazards are up off the roads, and the flooding has receded. Check that penny or that quarter in the freezer before you touch that food. When in doubt, throw it out. Again, you don't know what was in that flood water, so during cleanup, sanitize everything that got wet with the flooding. Take a lot of breaks if you're cleaning up. Avoid heat illnesses. They come on fast. Make sure that you're eating regularly, even if it's something small. That salt intake and calorie intake is really important. And then make sure that you're drinking lots of water. If you're drinking lots of water and you're not eating, you're not replenishing the sodium your body needs to function. And that is sometimes how we have these heat-related illnesses. Heart attacks are the leading cause of post-hurricane deaths, so please be mindful of that. Take breaks. Yeah. Any questions on that? Okay. I know we did go over, and I apologize for that. But that is the conclusion of my presentation.
No need to apologize, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for your presentation. That was amazing. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for hopping on today. I am looking forward to our next week's session because I get to host it, and we're going to be going over workforce mobilization. Besides that, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next week. And then last note, I am going to be sending this recording over to comms, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So anyone that is interested in looking at any of our previous videos from our series, just go check out our YouTube channel. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. I'll see you all next week.